Alright, I think we're ready to get this started. Are we ready to go yet? Good, hope so. Let's find out. Alright, how do audio levels look? I look good. Well, I don't look good, but I sound good at least. Background music doesn't look too bad. I think we're good to go. So let's get rid of this thing. There we go. Alright, hello! Shadowcat back, and we are back to work on our little tabletop module. We got to work on the Espers last time. We've got our summoner. Our summoner looks good. So now we got to make the summons to go with the summoner. And that is kind of hard, kind of not hard. We're working on it. So what we do have is we've got, of course, let's see, where is it? There it is. We got our spreadsheet. And this, of course, is showing our Espers and what they can do. Specifically, we want to come over here. Right now, I still have the data for Shiva up. We got to get rid of all this stuff. Problem is, I don't want to wipe out all the equations that I used. So let's be really careful about what we delete and don't delete. Like that one. Okay, no, that one's fine. That one can go away. Hey, Unicorn's in the chat. Hello. Good to see you. I don't often get you here. It's nice to have you here for a change. Alright, so we can get rid of that. Okay, AC. That can go away. That can go away. So can that, and that, and that. Damage reduction. Yeah, that can go, that can go, that can go, that can go. These are all just static numbers. They're not the equations that I want to make sure that I keep. Okay, glacial shards, yeah, that can go. Spells, those are fine. That can go as well. And then down here. Hey, Tux is in the chat too. Oh, and Unicorn says up since 5 because of issues. Well, I hope that gets better for you. So we can delete those. We can delete these. We'll get back to those later. Combat maneuver. This is an equation. We're going to keep that. Feats. We can get rid of those. Skills. Actually, no, we can keep the skills. We can keep the skills. And languages weren't really that important. Okay, everything should be good then, right? I think so. Yeah, because this is an equation, this is an equation. Both of those are just equal to 10 right now. HP is an equation. Okay, so I've still got all of my good equations. We good then. Alright, so today we have 2 Espers on the menu. One of them is Ifrit, one of them is Rama, and if we get those done, we'll see what time it is, and maybe we can get another one in. Maybe. But, like I said, for today... Button. There's the button. And of course it's on the wrong page. So, don't show that again. We are doing Ifrit, the big fire boy. And this should be very similar to Shiva, actually. Well, for that matter, I mean, they should all be very similar to each other. Shiva, Ifrit, and Rama, because they're all kind of like the main 3. You generally always get a fire summon, an ice summon, and a lightning summon, since that's kind of the main spells you have. You have fire, ice, and lightning. In Final Fantasy VIII, you had Shiva and Ifrit, and you had Quetzalcoatl instead of Rama. And in Final Fantasy X, you still had Ifrit and Shiva, but you had Ixion. And in 9, I forget who the... No, 9 was also Rama. Yeah, 9 was also Rama. And I think Rama was also there in Final Fantasy VII as well. Also, Unicorn says that it's the fault of Cheetos. I'm sure it is, probably. Cheetos are terrible. And they're terrible for you. Don't eat Cheetos. So, we're going to have to work on this, and we're going to need a little bit of information on Ifrit first before we can start. So obviously the first thing we're going to go with is the name, and it is Ifrit. As far as alignment goes, I have seen Ifrit in a lot of different games, and Ifrit does not care. Does not care about the environment, does not care about the summoner, just doesn't really care about anyone. So, alignment is simply going to be chaotic. Now, size. Here's where we're going to have to go through and get a few comparisons, because the only real comparison we have is going to be Final Fantasy X. That's about the only time you really see Ifrit next to anybody. Let's see, there's a video. I don't really want to look at a video. Can I get a look at it, like, pictures? Do I have pictures? Because I do believe that there is someone, or one of the pictures should show... Was this a GIF? No, that's just her summoning. I do believe there is one picture that shows Yuna sitting on Ifrit's shoulder. But I'm not seeing it. Hold on, let's check the storyboards. Wow, these are useless. Can I blow them up a little bit? That is not helpful. Unicorn says in the FF7 remake, he's also next to you. Really? I did not know that. Well, actually, I haven't had a chance to play it yet, so... yeah. Okay, well... maybe I can check that. So, 12, 15... Actually, where would the 7 remake be? Here it is. Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Show me pictures! Can I get something to scale by? Tux says, check Rule 34. I'm sure we can find something between Ifrit and Yuna there. Yeah, but we can only do that on OnlyFans. So, if you haven't already, join my OnlyFans. That's a joke. I don't actually have an OnlyFans. Also, I see that Blizz is in the house. Hello, Blizz. And Tenshu's in the house. Hello, Tenshu. First time. Tenshu says, trying to recreate Final Fantasy Ifrit or just Ifrit in general? Yes, actually. So what we're doing is we are making a module for Pathfinder. So if you're familiar with tabletop games, or if you were there for the lecture yesterday, we're playing Pathfinder. But we're stripping out like all of the Pathfinder stuff except for the basic mechanics, and we're making a Final Fantasy module to use instead. So for example, instead of, if you were playing Pathfinder, or if you were playing like Dungeons and Dragons, you would make yourself a wizard character. In this case, you would make a black mage. Or in this case, you would actually make a chemist who then becomes a black mage because we're using the progression system from Tactics. But in Pathfinder, when you become a wizard, you have a massive list of spells and you get to pick which spells you want to put in your spell book. And then you can cast a certain number of spells per day. In our module, we're ditching the entire spell list. And we're saying, instead of that, you learn certain spells as you level up, and you get a mana pool. And then, of course, we're going to add things like ethers and elixirs and things like that later on that will help refill your mana, or will have different abilities. It's a conversion module so that we can play Final Fantasy in a tabletop setting. So when we say, are we trying to make Final Fantasy Ifrit or just Ifrit in general, we're trying to kind of take all of the Ifrits together and make like one generic Ifrit. Okay? Because he's going to have the big blast attack that we would normally use. So let's come back to our sheet here. Like, here's our list. Now, this is copied directly from the Final Fantasy Tactics wiki, and I've expanded on it from there. But this is our list of all the summoner abilities, or at least most of them. Most of them, of course, are summons. the mana it takes to cost them. The JP we didn't need, we just use that to kind of order things. But then we also have all their special abilities. For example, when we had Shiva, her thing is Glacial Shards, and so we said, well, she's going to be doing this. How much damage does it do? What's the area that it does? You get the idea. In this case, for Ifrit, he has this Infernal Blaze. Now, in the game, Ifrit would just come out and he would blast every enemy within either a certain area or everybody on that side of the field. In this case, it's going to be a 20-foot burst. That's a 20-foot radius, so it's going to be a big burst. And it'll do 6d10 damage, which is a lot. But, you know, it's his final ability. It should be a lot. And so that's where we are right now. That's kind of what we're trying to build. And so when we come here, we have to look at things like size, because size affects armor class and things of that nature. So when we look at size, we need to have a size comparison. And that's why I'm looking for some kind of side-by-side shot. Again, for Final Fantasy X, I do believe that Yuna sits on his shoulder, which gives us a really good example of how big he is. Knowing that Yuna is, I think, what did we say Yuna was? 5'7"? I don't want to look it up again if I don't have to. But if she's like 5'7" and she can sit on his shoulder, then that would easily make him at least 2, maybe 2.5, 3 times bigger than her. That would put him at somewhere between 10 to 15 feet tall. And he's kind of squat. So if he's going to be like 10 to 15 feet tall, he's probably also going to occupy a 10 to 15 foot diameter. Which means that he's probably going to be in the area of like a huge creature, maybe. And for that, we can come back here. And we can look at, let's see, how did we get there before? Was it description? Age, height, weight. No, I want size. Where do I get size at? Basics and ability scores. No, 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 no. All right, hold on. Let me do a quick search here. Let's see. D20 PFSRD space reach. There we go. If you move this over here. Alright, so space reach threatened area templates. This is what I wanted. Alright, so areas affected larger creatures. Yeah, we got that. Here we go. So this is what we're looking at. So medium creature tends to be between 4 to 8 feet tall. Great. And they weigh between 60 and 500 pounds. I don't know how much Ifrit's going to weigh. I didn't even think about that. Large, tall, is going to be 8 to 16 feet tall. That's going to be probably in our area. Because I think if we go for huge, he's definitely not 30 feet tall. I think that's way too big for him. So I'm thinking that he's going to be a large, tall creature, which means that his space is going to be 10 feet. His reach will also be 10 feet, so I mean, that's nice. So yeah, we're going to do that. So his is going to be large, tall, and that means that his armor class will get a -1 to the size modifier. I think. Blizz says, I think he's either big or huge. No, not quite huge. And JP just says, that's what she... Never mind. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, we're not going there. So the size modifier, I do believe that is for AC. It says 1 and 4. Let's see, number 1 applies to its attacks and its armor class. Okay. Interesting, I didn't realize that applied to attacks too, but that makes sense. Alright, so yeah, that's going to be a -1. The type, of course, is going to be an outsider. Initiative, well, we'll get to that in a minute. Actually, we'll get to that right now. Let's go ahead and get our point array put in. So, standard point array for Ifrit. Ifrit's biggest thing, of course, is going to be his ferocity. As such, I think that his highest stat is probably going to go into strength. His lowest stat is going to go into his charisma. So that is going to be a 16 there, and a 10 there. And we're pretty much just going to go straight down, I think. His next is going to be his constitution, because he's a tough boy. But since our next highest are both 14s, we use the 14s for both of those. Intelligence, probably next to charisma, so we'll make that the 11. And then wisdom, he probably knows better than to get hurt. We'll give that a 12. Now, as for other modifiers. So if we make him huge, does that make his skills go up? Actually, I think it does. And here's what I want to do. Where is my summoner? Tenchu's, or no, hold on. So, let's see, Flame says, muy interesante. I don't think that's right, but I could be wrong. And Tenchu says, so depending on the game, Ifrit varies slightly from just slightly taller than a person to roughly twice the size. I actually think Ifrit can get even bigger. But that's the thing. Generally speaking, it's really hard to get a handle on how big he is, because usually it removes your characters from the game. Now, that being said, if we wanted to go, like, real game theorist on this one, we could go and look at a game like Final Fantasy VIII, where you never actually see Ifrit and your player characters in the same area at the same time. But you do see your player characters and the monsters on the same battlefield, and then you see Ifrit and the monsters on the same battlefield. If we really wanted to get technical into like pixel measurements and everything, we could use the monsters as a measuring stick and maybe see how that works out there. But that's a lot more work than I want to put into this. After all, when we looked at this, we have a range here of 8 feet. I don't think the pixel measurements are going to sway it enough to go outside of that 8-foot span. So I think we're good there. Now, as for classes, where is my summoner? There it is. And I need my Eidolons, because that's what they're called in Pathfinder. Here we go. Eidolon rules. That's Eidolon Unchained, though. Well, hold on. Is this just an Unchained class? Yeah, it is just an Unchained class. Well, no, hold on. Do I have a regular summoner? Or are they all just Unchained? I think they're all Unchained. Gunslinger, Inquisitor... No, there's a regular summoner. Okay, yeah. I don't want the Unchained version because they're even wilder. Alright, here we go. This is what I wanted. Now, we will need these because Ifrit, of course, is going to have 2 9s and a 5. Yeah, 2 9s and a 5, so I don't really need to do these right now, but 2 9s and a 5, he's going to be a +9, +9, and +5. His will is going to be the lowest one. He doesn't really need the will. And what I want to look at are some of the additions. So 1-point evolutions, no. I want size. So starting statistics, no, 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 no. Trample, trip, swallow whole, web. Large, here we go. An Eidolon grows in size and becomes large. It gains a +8 to its strength. This is where things are going to get fun. So a +8 to its strength is going to make him a 24. And a 24, I don't even know what that bonus is. You so rarely get to have bonuses that high. Alright, bonuses. 24 is a +7. Very nice. He's also going to get a +4 to Constitution. So that will make his Constitution an 18. That is a +4. And a -2 penalty to Dexterity. So this becomes a 12, and thus only a +1. Let's see. Unicorn says, in the best Steve Irwin, "That over there's an Ifrit. It could set me on fire with just a glance from his eyes. I'm gonna go poke it with a stick." That's a bad Steve Irwin, but I'm not apologizing for it. JP says, "Monstering measuring stick seems like a euphemism." Look, you were the one that said no Rule 34. Now you're the one at fault. And Tux says, "Wait, there's something Shadowcat doesn't know?" Oh, he knows it now. Everything is once again. Alright, so what else do we get? +2 to its natural armor. Do we have a natural armor in here? I don't... Oh, yes, we do! Ha 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 ha! I thought of that. Natural armor is a +2. Okay, the size change also gives the creature a -1 penalty to its AC and on attack rolls. We've already got that. +1 bonus to CMB and CMD. Now that, I don't think that I have in here. I may have to redo these, actually. Or no, I don't think I have to. I can just put a +1 here. And then I can modify these. So this is going to be a plus this. And this one will also be plus this. And still, even that Steve Irwin thing is better than what the what South Park did to Steve Irwin. I'm gonna stick my thumb in it. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Not with a gator, not with Ifrit. It's not going to end well for you either way. Alright, so what do we got? Let's see. We get the +1 on combat maneuvers. That's great. A -2 on fly and a -4 on stealth. I don't think that Ifrit has to worry about flying or stealthing. If it has a biped base, it also gains a 10-foot reach. We've already got that. Fantastic. And then, of course, we've got stuff down here to make an Eidolon huge, which we're not going to need now, but we will need that later. Because in particular, I'm thinking Leviathan. Leviathan is going to be just mind-bogglingly enormous. There is not a form of Leviathan I have seen yet that isn't just ridiculously huge. And Tuck says, to be fair, everyone knew Steve Irwin was going to die doing what he loved. Yeah, I knew that. I always said that he was going to get eaten by one of his crocodiles. Someday it was going to happen. You don't spend your life pissing off animals and not end up at their mercy someday. And I get it. He loved his animals. He took care of his animals. He was good to his animals. But like every single show, it's just like dangling a chicken leg in front of a crocodile, and it's like, it's the big saltwater crocodile. It's one of the meanest things on the planet. I'm gonna dangle a chicken leg in front of it. It's like, you do you, dude. Let me know how that works out for you. Turns out it worked out really well, actually. Okay, so we've got that done. These need to be filled in still. That's a +0. That's a +1. That's a +0. Good. So now that we got those done, we can come back up here. Let's see. AC, touch, flat. His armor class is just going to be a 10, really. Which means that these... Let's see. Touch is going to be without without regular armor, so that takes away the natural. And then flat-footed is without dexterity, but you get to keep your natural armor. So there's that, but it's also a -1. Does this one take into consideration... Let's see, this is D3? No, it does take into consideration that one. Okay, so yeah, 10 is right. Let's see. Tuck says, dude's still one of the greatest positive things of that time. I mean, I'm not going to argue that. JP says, but that was a wild stingray. Barb attack was super effective. Yes, it was. Like, the odds of that happening were extremely low. Alright, so, looking at this, HP. I do believe that regular HP is just 120, isn't it? Let's see, if we look at this... Yeah, the HP is 120. And so that's going to be 120, which gives him an HP total of 180. Which is, like, super good for him. You're probably not going to kill him before he gets unsummoned. Damage reduction, he doesn't really have one. Immunity, however, he is immune to all fire, obviously. He doesn't have any spell resistance as far as I know. Weaknesses, of course, are going to be ice. So, no damage from fire, double the damage from ice. One other thing that he will have is going to be a fire aura. And we can keep everything here the same. The only difference is this will have to be fire. And the DC for that. I forget what the DC for that was. Let's see. So, I need to look at some spells. Because I don't remember what the Frosty Aura spell was. But I know how to find out. Because that was an arcane spell. So, detect charm, detect auras, magic aura, no. Aura of distraction, no. Sympathetic aura, no. Blood blaze, no. Splinter, no. Elemental aura? Was that it? I don't think it was. Maybe it was. I think it was, actually. Let's get back to that then. Nope, wait, that was it. Go back. Let's see. Here we go. Spell forms an aura around you. No, this is not the same spell we had last time. Although this one's kind of cooler, actually. I mean, literally in the case of cold. But... I don't know how I actually, am going to use this. I mean, I'm tempted to actually go back to Shiva and replace it with this, because this seems a lot more fun. It makes her a little bit less lethal, but more effective. Because anybody who gets too close is going to end up fatigued instead. Maybe. It also would make Ifrit a lot more dangerous, because anybody affected by the aura would have the chance to catch on fire. I wonder how far is the aura on this? Is it just melee range? Is it 10 foot? I don't know. Damaging all those that come near you. Pick an energy type. Creatures adjacent to you. So it's only a 5-foot range. I wonder. Ray of Frost, Frostfall, Ray of Frost. No, that's it. This is wrong. Where is the, where's the Frosty aura that I wanted? Okay, Analyze aura, here we go. Bestow, Counter, Covetous, Elemental, Flaming aura? That's probably the counterpart to Frosty aura, actually. Let's see. If you don't already have the fire subtype, the spell grants you the fire subtype. Yes, this is what I wanted. Here's the 10-foot radius. Yeah, this is the one that I wanted. Alright, so saving throw makes it harmless. Spell resistance, no, makes it harmless. Great. So, I just need to know what the spell resistance on this is. I think I can find that back here, actually. Nope, go forward. Because we have spells here. Let's see, summoner spells, already know. Here we go. So difficulty class against a spell is 10 plus the spell level plus the appropriate modifier. Which in Ifrit's case will probably be his will, since it is the highest one. So that's going to be 10 plus, well, this is a level 4 spell, so 10 plus 4, plus his will. And his will is only a plus 1. So 10 plus 4 plus 1 means it's going to be DC 15. Alright, and Tux said, play 40k enough, somebody still rolls a 1. Oh, trust me, I play with dice all the time. I know what it's like. And if I'm ever actually a player in a game, my rolls are terrible. This is why I'm a better DM. That way you don't know what I rolled, and I can just lie to you. I can lie to your face, and there's nothing you can do about it. Alright, he doesn't have any kind of spell resistance, doesn't have any kind of damage reduction yet. I don't think I gave any of that to Shiva, did I? No, I did not. So, NA, NA. Alright, so, speed. Normally, it would be 30 feet. However, does the speed affect, or does his size affect his speed? Bipedal base form gives it reach. Does not look like he has any kind of speed penalty. So speed will remain 30 feet. Space, of course, is going to be 10 feet. Reach will be 10 feet. For melee, we're going to come over to the Space Reach one. And he is going to have several of them, actually. We may need to expand our list. Because if we take a look at Ifrit, just go back and look at the basic form of Ifrit. He's got claws, he's got teeth, he's got horns. So technically speaking, he should get all of them. Bites, claws, and gore is for the horns. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have to... Oh, first off, how do I copy this again? Actually, I can just copy it from here. So it's the attack plus the attack modifier, and then damage in parentheses. Let's see. Tensu says, Ifrit with a strong will. Well, I mean, Final Fantasy does deviate a fair amount with the summons reference characters. I don't know the actual lore around where Ifrit came from. Like, what his actual inspiration was. I'm sure there's an Ifrit in multiple mythologies, but I don't know them. However, I am sure that the Fire Demon Ifrit is probably nothing like the Ifrit from Legend. I mean, after all, we have the Ice Goddess Shiva. I have studied a little bit of Hinduism. I know what Shiva looks like. And Shiva does not look like that. I mean, for starters, Final Fantasy Shiva only has 2 arms. So we're going to come over here, Espers, we're going to go ahead and just grab everything here. I hope I don't break anything doing this. Did I break anything doing that? No, I think all of my equations stayed the same. Okay, good. Alright, so, melee. We are going to have a bite, and the bite is... Well, let's see, the bite will be a plus... Oh, we never figured out base attack bonus. Hold on. That's why I'm having such a hard time thinking of this. Base attack bonus for him. Let's see. Tensu says Ifrit is sort of an Islamic demon, especially a fire djinn. Okay, that's cool. I learned a thing today. Ifrit's base attack bonus is 15. There we go. Let's see. Tuck says, I propose we make a new Eidolon people can summon, just named Jesus. Look, if we do just a regular Pathfinder game and you want to make a summoner who summons Jesus, that's on you. For that matter, if you make the right kind of summoner, you can summon all of his apostles too. Alright, so this is going to be bite plus, we're going to start with 15 plus 7. However, because of his size, minus 1. So 15 plus 7 is going to be 22. Minus 1 is 21. And that is going to be, for a bite, for a large bite, is going to be 1d8. And it doesn't tell me what type of damage. It just says damage. Okay, hold on. I can come back to this later. Well, give me a bestiary example. bestiary. A for animals, because most animals have a bite. Animated animals. Animal lord. Can I not just get some animals? Can I get an alligator? Alligators have a bite attack. Sorted alphabetically. Alright, what about C? Can I get a crocodile? Let's see. Clockworks, no. I don't want that. Cave, no. Can I not get that? Alright, here, here's a lion. So a lion has a bite, and it literally does not mention the damage. It just says it does damage. I don't know. Okay, so it's just going to be damage. So 1d8 plus 1d4 fire. And that's just a natural crit. Next up for Space Reach, we've got Claws. He's got 2 of them. They do 1d6. So let's see. That's going to be times 2 claws at a plus 21, which will do 1d8. Or no, 1d6. Excuse me. 1d6 plus 1d3 fire. Let's realign those so we can actually read them. And he's got a gore attack from his horns that is also a 1d8. Gore. There we go. Just reuse those numbers. Look, if you guys want, if we finish up Ifrit and Rama within reasonable time, we can go through and build a Jesus. I have no problem doing that. I mean, we can go through and show just how you would build a Jesus. We can even make it walk on water, I think. Alright, as for ranged attacks, Ifrit doesn't really need a ranged attack given the myriad of melee attacks that he has so far. And he's already got the aura. So I don't think I'm going to give him any melee attacks or any range attacks. He's just going to be, that special thing. Plus, he'll have spells. So, for example, he's going to have the same spells as Shiva did, just fire-themed. So that'll be Fire and Fyra. Just like hers, they will do 5d4 and 4d10. $5d4, 4d10. I have a feeling this is going to be very, very broken. Tuck says prerequisite, carpentry skill. Well, technically speaking, we can give your Eidolon a profession. Doesn't come normal, but we can. Like I said, we'll get to it. We'll do that later. We'll finish this up. We'll just kind of deviate away to make ourselves a Jesus. And then she's also got Shell. I'm just going to copy this directly. So copy, paste. And there we go. That looks good. And as for the special attack, we come back to the summoner page. And we're going to go ahead and get this. So it's going to be copy and paste. So Infernal Blaze. And of course, after he uses Infernal Blaze, he gets unsummoned. So it's always the final attack. If you use it, it's the final attack. If you wait till his summoning is over, final attack, whatever. So there's that. Range attack is still going to be NA. That could be centered. And alright, next is just initiative. So his initiative is only going to be a +1 unless we buff it. We can go ahead and give him the improved initiative feat. That'll give him a +4 for a total of +5. His senses is going to be dependent on his wisdom, so his perception is just going to be a +1. It's not great. Let's see. And Shiva has chilling amplification. I feel like we can get something similar for him. I just don't remember what it's called. Let's look at feats. And this is going to be a general feat? Is it? Amplified burning amplification. Yep. It's a general. So burning amplification. There we go. Now, is there anything else that we need to give him to kind of just even him out? Like maybe something to help his perception. What can we get? Combat distraction? No. Eagle-eyed. The distance penalties in your perception checks are less? No. Eagle eyes? No. Empath? No. Smell fear? +4 to detect that? No. Lie low? Wait, what's that? Oh, sense link. Gain a +4 perception when sharing your Eidolon senses. No. Sharp senses, a +4 racial bonus on perception check. That requires keen senses, though. Which, I mean, we could always give him. It doesn't really matter. Our Starlight Summons. Summon creatures gain a bonus on perception and stealth. Well, maybe. He is a summoned creature. Let's see. Stone Sense, no. Stone Road, no. I don't really like any of these. Wait, Uncanny Alertness? That requires alertness, though. Vigilant Eidolon. You get a +4 bonus on perception checks when your Eidolon's within arm's reach. So yeah, that's only helping the summoner. I'm surprised I don't see anything to really boost perception. No, I guess not. Alright, never mind. Ifrit's gonna have a bad perception. Because he can't be good at everything, right? But this looks good. Also, I don't know why these are over here. Put those over there. Yep, that's a good looking Ifrit. I think I'm happy with this. As far as languages go, I don't think anyone's going to stop to talk to him, so I don't really feel the need to fill that in. So we just need to grab everything here, and we can shove it. Oh, one thing that I did forget to do. Okay. I forgot to change the offense stuff. Now I can take this, put it back there. Alright, everything is fixed. Time to store it. So we're going to copy. We'll come over to our Esper storage. And I'm going to make sure that I don't overwrite anything. So right here then. And there we go. There's Ifrit. Not bad. Tuck says, you've been GMing for a long time. Rethink what you just said about not stopping to talk to them. I mean, I'll give you half a point on that one. They might actually try and stop to talk to Ifrit. I don't think that Ifrit is going to be terribly reciprocal, though. At which point, I don't think having a common language is going to be that important, unless you roll really, really high on persuasion. However, by all means, please try. I will find it amusing. PC Unicorn says, I don't know, I think it would be a heated debate. You're terrible. You're killing me here. Keep it up. Okay. So we're going to go through and we're going to start Rama now. We can keep this aura stuff here because this is just going to be a lightning aura. And so the fire will become electric. And the DC will get later. The size and stuff will also get later. All of this can be deleted. All of this stuff can be deleted. There's no equations in there. All of that can be deleted. All of this can be deleted. As can these. JP says, LOL, what if opposing summoners both call Ifrit? Does he have to choose? Are there twins? That is a brilliant question. I don't know. I hadn't thought of that. I think what may end up happening is literally going to be whoever gets there first. Because if I was to have them try to fight over Ifrit, then that would get into more complicated issues of what are the checks that we're going to make to see who has a higher control over him. Does level make a difference? Does alignment make a difference? What are the skills involved? I don't think I'm going to allow two people to summon at the same time. Not the same one. I think what it'll come down to is basically if you want Ifrit and they want Ifrit, it will come down to literally who can summon faster. And that's where an initiative roll-off might happen. So, for example, if it's between you and an enemy. Now, generally speaking, here's how I usually do combat. What I usually do is I take a page out of Warhammer, which is to say I have each side move all of their pieces independently. What I'll have people do is I will have them usually roll initiative, and then I add the initiatives together, and whichever side has more gets to go first. And then you get to determine what order you want your side to go first in. If you had two summoners on your own team, however, you can either decide who gets to do what, or you could actually roll initiative between the two of you, or go by your initiative that you already rolled, and that person would get to summon first, whatever they wanted. Otherwise, in a normal battle, if it's you versus an enemy summoner, it's whoever gets there first. And if somebody else gets the Eidolon you wanted first, or the Esper you wanted first, that actually is not the worst thing in the world. Because if you wanted Ifrit and they summoned Ifrit first, well, now you can summon Shiva. Now, maybe you didn't get the Eidolon you wanted, however, you could have Shiva come in and just kind of wipe out Ifrit. I mean, after all, if he's going to take double damage from ice and you can get there first, maybe that works. On the other hand, if they have a higher initiative than you, maybe they can take out your Eidolon first. Maybe you don't take Shiva. Maybe you would take Rama. So you don't have to worry about the... Now you don't have to worry about the weaknesses between the elements. Unicorn just says, now just imagining two summoners, Ifrit appearing in the middle and both going, here boy, come here boy, here boy, come here. Come here, come on. Who wants a matchstick? Who wants a matchstick? Go get the stick! And then Ifrit just drops to all fours and bolts across the battlefield while everyone's just like, okay, back to fighting. Alright, so let's get back to this. We're going to have Rama. JP says, can summons be counterspelled? The answer to that is no. Not yet, anyway. I have not seen anything to counterspell. However, Silence, the status effect, stops you from casting entirely. No black magic, no white magic, no summons. So while the summon cannot be sent back once it's on the field, you can stop it from coming to the field entirely. Although it does bring up an interesting question. Can you silence a summon? And what would happen if the summoner were to be silenced while it was on the field? Would it go back? Or would it go wild? I mean, what if you silence the summoner and the summon becomes simply an unbound force of chaos? I don't think that would happen, but we can investigate that. Alright, anyway, Rama. Here we go. There's a Rama. Big old beard guy with a stick. Not Ifrit stick. So Rama, of course, is the Thunder Elemental. He's had many appearances, and that's probably one of his worst ones. But if we take a look at a few others, actually, yeah, he was in Final Fantasy IX. He's like the first one that you get in Final Fantasy IX. Better yet, though, Final Fantasy Remake. So there he is in 7. Remake Intergrade. Oh, he looks pretty good there. Now the question is, how big is he? How big are we going to make Rama? Okay, so Unicorn says Rogue. I'm going to cast Silence. The GM says, how? You can't cast spells. The Rogue pulls out duct tape. Of course, the next question is, where did the Rogue get the duct tape? Questions upon questions. Let's see. Now, interestingly, I do believe that we get to see Rama with... Oh, and Tux says the image is cut off. Yeah, it's because I've got this screen split between my browser and the spreadsheet, so I can only really show things so well. But if we scroll up, yeah, if I just do this, the image is half cut off. And I can't really do anything about that. But if I go to... Nope. Wrong way. Close that down. If I go to the Final Fantasy Remake page... Oh wait, this is the general page. There's a decent picture. It's a little on the small side. It's also like the only one that we're getting. So there's like half the image that you can see for Judgment Bolt. He looks enormous. Either way, though, let's see. Oh, let's see. PC Unicorn says portable hole. Yeah, that would make sense. Tensu made it back in. Really fun experiment. Can you make the FF8 issue with GFs, not the girlfriends, work? Probably not, because that would be a very, very different system. Because, that used a lot of different timing. Specifically in Final Fantasy VIII, with the junction system, the reason why you wanted to give a Guardian Force to a certain character and leave it there is because of the friendship mechanic they had. The friendship mechanic was really important because the higher the friendship level with the GF was, the faster you could summon them. Which was really important in the active time battle system they were using. But we don't really have that since everything here is turn-based. So the only other issue that was kind of important with Guardian Forces in 8 was the fact that they ate your memories, which led to long-term amnesia if you kept a Guardian Force junction long enough. The end result or the equivalent for this would be having a summon joined to you would be eating your experience points. And let me be clear, I'm actually not opposed to that. I do think that is kind of a brilliant mechanic, and I greatly enjoyed Final Fantasy VIII. But it's not something that's going to particularly work in this module. Could be a different module, but that'd have to be a very specific one. Might actually be better adapted to a different game entirely. PC Unicorn says, yay! Finally, someone else who liked 8. Oh, I loved 8. 8 was my first Final Fantasy. It is by far and away my favorite Final Fantasy. Although, 9 is really close. I really, really like 9 too. And I'll be honest with you. 9 is one of only like 2 games where the soundtrack has a coveted place in my MP3 player. The other game is Chrono Cross. Final Fantasy IX and Chrono Cross have just chef's kiss soundtracks. Alright, oh, Unicorn says never got to play 9? Oh, well, you can get 9 on PC now. If you've never played it before, definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. And you know, I did think about possibly doing a Final Fantasy IX playthrough on my channel. And I was going to go ahead and use like an AI, not an AI, but a text-to-speech thing, to not only do the game, but give the characters voices, which I thought was going to be really cool. However, and I know I'm deviating here, I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but this is an important tangent. If you wanted to experience Final Fantasy IX, and if you didn't want to play it, let's see. Who did that? Was it you? No, it was not you. Who did this? Hold on, I gotta check my subscriptions real fast. And I mean, I only have 100 subscriptions, so this should only take like 10 minutes. Or longer if I miss it. Let's see. Tux says 8 was awesome, 9 was good, 10 is when things started to noticeably go downhill. I kind of disagree with that one. 10 was good. I like 10. My only issue with 10 is that I think they spent too much time playing with their toys and not enough time writing the story. Because 10 was where you could really see them starting to say, we have more powerful technology now. Let's use it. And while I can definitely get on with that, and I do think that that's really good, it's just, you cannot substitute flashy graphics for... You can't substitute flashy graphics for a good story. Aha! I found it! I found it! Okay, let's bring this over here. So, this is a channel called Lore Runner. I actually found him when I was still working, because I could set up a playlist and just go. This guy does deep dives into all kinds of stuff. I got into it because of Babylon 5. I was looking for Babylon 5 videos, I found him. Babylon 5 is the greatest sci-fi show ever made, will never be topped, can never be topped, and if they actually go through with the remake, it will absolutely destroy everything that Final Fantasy, or everything that Babylon 5 was. However, recently, he did... And where is it? No, not Ruminations. Oh, where is it? I know it was in here. Is it not in here? Final Fantasy VII playlist. I don't know where it is. Videos. Can I just find it in here? Because I think it's been over for a while. Yeah, I think it's been over for a while, so it might be buried pretty deep. Either way, though. He got together with a whole bunch of other YouTubers, and they did a fully voiced playthrough of Final Fantasy IX. It's in here somewhere, I don't know where. But they did it, it was fully voiced, it was really good. So if you've played it before, and you just want to kind of go through the story again, then great. It was fine. If you've never played it before, you never intend to play it, and you're willing to go through it that way, also fantastic. I just don't see it in here. It was a while ago. Regardless, though, it's on his channel, and even if it's not, or even if I can't find it, he's got a good channel. Go subscribe to him anyway. He's got 39.1k subscribers. And if everybody on my channel went and subscribed to his channel, and then made like 5 false accounts and subscribed to his channel on all of those all those accounts, we could get him up to 40k. Which, you know, then he's like obligated to do something Warhammer related. That's the rule, right? But okay, yeah, you can go do that. Anyway, getting back on topic. Let's see. PC Unicorn says cue the 3 hours later. Yeah, no kidding. Also says 13 is where things went off the rails. Absolutely, 13 was god-awful. And it was god-awful because it was bad. It was a decent idea, but poor execution. And then, because the CEO of Square Enix was just absolutely in love with lightning, he just would not let it go. So they took something that was already going off the rails, and they just kept pushing that train off the cliff. Let's see. Tux said Final Fantasy X didn't have map overworld. It was barely a Final Fantasy game. I've heard that complaint before. However, I didn't really care that much. And the reason I didn't really care about that is because in general, even when you had the overworld, what was in it? Whether you used the airship to just go to a point in the map, or you got in your airship and you actually flew to that point, it's still points on a map with great empty spaces in between them you couldn't do anything with anyway. So the only thing you lost was the ability to just kind of fly around. It's not a game breaker for me. Let's see. Tensu said 10 had a good story start and end the story in the middle where... Oh, in the middle was where it falls apart. I thought that, I thought the story was fine. The thing about Final Fantasy X is that it was a character story. In Final Fantasy VIII... Well, Final Fantasy VII, it was all about you versus Sephiroth while Sephiroth tries to destroy the world. In Final Fantasy VIII, it was all about you versus the sorceress while she tries to... I'll get back to you on that one. In Final Fantasy IX, it was you versus Kuja while he tried to... I'll get back to you on that one too, because it's not very clear. Final Fantasy X, however, while the story was about them trying to go through and defeat sin and end the cycle, the revelations that you get along the way turn it from being you versus bad guy to you and the world just coming to terms. Because when you get to the end of Final Fantasy X, there's not really any bad guys. There's some people that are worse than others, and there's some people who are definitely corrupt. But after you deal with the corruption, there's no bad guys. You're faced with people who are in a position where the world is just broken, and they're all trying to make it better in their own ways. And so trying to look at it through the lens of your traditional hero story, you can't. It's not your traditional hero story. It's not your basic 3-act structure where the knight is going to get to the castle, fail to enter the castle, have his down moment, rally himself, climb again through the castle, find his strength, slay the dragon, rescue the princess. That wasn't Final Fantasy X. It was just them learning who they are, what their place in the world is. And they did a good job at that. It's just, I don't think that's what most people wanted. Most people wanted their traditional, let's go save the world Final Fantasy game. They weren't looking for this. Which is why a lot of things like the laughing scene rub people the wrong way, because if you look at it on its own, yeah, it's cringy. It's bad. It's hard to listen to. But when you understand the characterization behind it, you understand that Yuna is suffering. Titus is suffering. And their suffering is not going to end. There is no solution for his problem. There is no solution for her problem either. And so what do? They commiserate in their collective misery, and they say, everything sucks. but at least we can suffer through it together. Which is just... It's a beautiful story if you have the right audience. And Final Fantasy was not really the right audience for it. JP says, I forget, where did Tactics happen? Tactics takes place in the world of Ivalice, which actually is very interesting because Final Fantasy XII is technically a sequel to Final Fantasy Tactics. There you go. Tuck says 11 was an improvement over 10. 11 was an MMO. I never got to play it. And Tuck says, I would totally explore and revisit places. You could revisit places in 10 as well. In fact, you had to. Especially if you wanted to gain things like ultimate weapons and stuff like that. You had to go back. Tensi says, Ultimisi was trying to become a goddess by taking control of time and space and compressing them. Yes, but I didn't want to spoil things. Unicorn says, just so for trying to make us buy the WinRAR license. Nobody buys the WinRAR license. Okay, anyway, moving on. Rama. We have deviated on this long enough. So Rama is actually somebody that you find in Final Fantasy IX. And I wonder if we have a picture of him and Garnet together. Yeah. No, I don't think I'm going to find it. But you do eventually find him. He's not terribly big, but then again, Final Fantasy IX, everyone is kind of chibi, so it's hard to really gauge sizes. But he's always regarded as being kind of a giant. Still, though, he is human, or at least human-ish. I'm tempted to just have him be medium size, which I think is what I'm going to do. So his alignment, he is going to be lawful, neutral. Because if you were here for my discussion yesterday, lawful neutral is considered to be the judge. And his special attack is Judgment Bolt, usually. He's going to be medium in size, which means that these are both going to be zeros. Type, of course, will be Outsider. And initiative and stuff we will get to later. Space is going to be 5 foot. Reach will be 5 foot. Now, as for the rest of this. Oh, and Blackfoot, or Tuxedo Blackfoot says, don't get me wrong, the voice acting was garbage in 10, but to point out that the ha 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 without the context they are making intentionally fake laughing is misappropriating context. If I misappropriated something, I didn't mean to. It's just I've commonly heard the complaint about how bad that scene is, and I feel that people just don't understand the scene in general. I think most people just look at that and say, this sounds awful, and I hate it, and it's it's just bad, and yeah, I don't buy that. I think people just don't get it. Anyway, though, we need to spread some stats. So, with this guy, Rama the Judge. If he's going to be the judge, he's got to be smart. So I think that intelligence is going to be his best stat. Or perhaps wisdom. Actually, take it back. We'll make his intelligence 14. We'll make his wisdom 16. And his charisma can be his other 14. That means that we need to get the rest of these. So, obviously, he is old. I mean, he's still pretty spry for an old guy, but he's still old. So, some of these are going to have to go. Since he uses a staff, he probably doesn't need to have that much strength. So, we're going to give that his 10. Then there's Dexterity and Constitution. Well, he can obviously handle his stick. That's not going to get clipped for anything. I'm probably going to give him his 12 in Constitution just to give him some extra hit points. And Dexterity will make the 11. Since he's going to be medium size, he doesn't really get any bonuses to this stuff. So that's going to be +0, +0, +1, +2, +3, +2. Base attack bonus, because he is going to be a level 20 summon, is going to be 15. So we got that. And since he doesn't have any strength or dexterity, he doesn't really get any bonuses on these either. And Tuck says stick handling is an important skill. Yes, it is. It very much is. Alright, so there's our stats. Now, initiative. If we give him improved initiative, which I think we will. So there we go. We got improved initiative. We can go ahead and make this a +4. It's not great, but just in case he needs it, it's there. And perception will be his wisdom, so it'll be a +3. So perception +3. And of course, we've already got his aura. The aura, of course, is going to be DC 10 plus spell level plus his ability. So in this case, it's going to be 10 plus 4 plus 3, which makes that a 17. Now, natural armor. Doesn't really have any. He's not really wearing any armor either. So that's just going to be none and none. I can't really help that. As for HP, he's going to get the normal 120. Because if we look at the Eidolons, at level 20, they have 15 hit dice. We gave him D8s, and so that's 120. Let's see, Tensu says, fun fact about Rama, he is one of the few summons that doesn't have a definitive character he is specifically based off of. Actually, I think I saw something on there about that. If we came back to here and go all the way down to the etymology, let's see, Rama could be based on Lamu, who is often portrayed as a bearded man with a red sash and 4 to 6 curls on his head. He could be loosely based on an epic Hindu poem written by Valmiki, if I'm pronouncing that right, called Ramayana. The protagonist is Rama, also spelled just Rama with, 2 A's, said to have been the incarnation of the Hindu god Vishnu. The name Rama could also be an amalgam of Rama and Vishnu. Tensu says it's also been linked to Indra in the past. Maybe. So, I mean, there is maybe something there to be said. I could probably look at the bottom of Ifrit, too. Down! Etymology. There we go. Yeah, you're right. In Arabian mythology, the Ifrit, also spelled Ifrit or Afrit, a class of jinn, demons, that embody fire. Although they could live for thousands of years, they were not immortal, and if cut, they would bleed, the fire running through their veins until it consumed their bodies. Fun! So yeah, you were right about that. Alright, anyway though. So he gets to have 2 9s and a 5. And they are based upon Constitution, Dexterity, and Wisdom. So in this case, he'll probably get good Wisdom, Fort, but poor Reflex. So, plus 9, plus 5, plus 9. Doesn't have any natural armor or anything like that. Doesn't have any damage reduction. Let's see. PC Unicorn says, so not working in the post office for them. First paper cut, things go up in smoke. Probably smart, actually. So Ram is going to be immune to lightning. Doesn't have any spell resistance. However, will be, of course, weak to earth. Because we also have earth. Speed, of course, is going to be, well, now here's something interesting. I just thought of something. So we already have ability scores here. And PC Unicorn says weakness to a beard trimmer. Have you seen that beard? Does Rama look weak to a beard trimmer to you? Rama shows up at the barber and the barber flees. Can't cut that. Alright, so here's what I want to see. Description. Aha! Age. Here's what I want to look at. So when a character reaches venerable age, secretly roll maximum age and everything. Yeah, that's good. Height, weight. Aha, here we go. Cumulative effects. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make him venerable. Because, I mean, he looks like it. Let's see. Tux says, uses beard trimmer. The beard trimmer breaks. Probably. And Unicorn says, and now I have going through a rendition of Rama walking into the barber singing, can't cut this. I know, I thought the same thing. Alright, so we're going to actually make him venerable. So that's a -3 to strength, dex, and con. This is going to get painful. That's going to make this 7, 8, 9. And because of that, this is actually going to be a -1, -1, and a -2. You don't generally see negative numbers, but, I mean, here we are. And then, of course, these are going to go up. However, 15, 15, and 17 have the same modifiers. They don't go up until you hit an even number. Tensu says there is also a sort of Jesus summon in Final Fantasy, by the way. Well, I would say that it could be Rama, except as far as I know, Jesus never smote anybody. Unless you count tables. Alright, so now we gotta get started on this. Speed does not appear to change with age. So he gets to keep his 30-foot speed. As for melee attacks... Oh, and Tensu says Alexander from Final Fantasy VII. Really? I don't remember Alexander from Final Fantasy VII. I remember Alexander from Others, where he's usually some kind of giant construct. Yeah, maybe we can look at that later. Anyway, for melee... Rama is obviously going to use his stick. And so, we're just going to call this the Judgment Staff. PC Unicorn says in 14, Alexander's pretty much a city. He's also pretty much a... let's see, he's like a wall. I want to say like a palisade, but I'm not sure if that's the right word. But he's like a giant wall in Final Fantasy 13. And in Final Fantasy 8 or 9, I forget which one it is, he's a giant artillery platform. No, that's Final Fantasy 8, where he's a giant artillery platform. In Final Fantasy 9, Alexander's actually very special because he's a summon that you cannot get. You only see Alexander once in Final Fantasy IX, and it's a cinematic, and it's amazing. Tensu says, not linked to a specific mythos and uses holy light to attack the enemy. Okay, that's kind of fair. Alright, so for Judgment Staff, that is going to be base attack bonus, which is 15, plus strength, which is -2. And so with that, it's just going to be a plus 13. And for this, it's going to have to be... Well, it is a staff. It's a Judgment Staff. So we're going to come over to equipment, and we're going to get these stats for a staff. So equipment, we want weapons. We want to have a quarterstaff. One-handed, two-handed. Quarterstaff. It is a double weapon. So it is a 1d6. And you know what? We're going to make this better. Masterwork Judgment Staff. That'll give it a +1 to its attack. And I do believe damage as well. Creating weapons. Yes, 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 yes. Weapon modifications. Crafting masterwork. Masterwork weapons. Is it just one on the attack? Yeah, +1 enhancement on attack rolls. Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's see. PC Unicorn said, ever notice how in every Final Fantasy at some point there's a really freaking big gun and it usually fails dismally? Well, there was a couple of big guns that were in Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VIII did not have a big gun, as far as I know. At least none that's coming to my mind. Let's see. Final Fantasy IX had the Invincible. So yeah, there's that. PC Unicorn says, yes, the Moonshot. Was that a gun? Oh, that thing! That wasn't a gun! That was a launch platform, wasn't it? Isn't that what they used to launch the spaceship? Or did they just repurpose it to launch a spaceship? Now I don't know. Okay, so this is going to be 1d6 bludgeoning damage plus 1d3 electric, and because it is a double weapon, we get to do the same thing again. 1d6 bludgeoning plus 1d3 electric. And the crit range on a quarterstaff is just 20, I do believe. As soon as I find it again. How hard is it to find a quarterstaff? Yeah, just a normal crit range. PC Unicorn said, the remake for Final Fantasy VII makes Barrett actually pretty good and hysterical. Barrett was always kind of hysterical. Alright, so that's literally the only attack he really has. Range attacks, he doesn't have any. I mean, he could shock people, but we've got that covered down here with Thunder and Thundara. Although, why you would ever use Thunder instead of Thundara, I'm not sure. But that's going to be 5d4 and 4d10. And we're just going to copy the shell over. So, Esper storage. Copy. And there is the shell. And as for his special attack, of course, that's going to be the big Judgment Bolt. Which is literally called Judgment Bolt. So, copy. And paste this over. So, Judgment Bolt, of course, is electric, 6d10. It is a 120-foot line. And it's got that for a reflex save. So you can try to dodge. And just like Ifrit and Shiva, he will have electric amplification. Which is like the one time when amplification actually makes sense. So there we go. We got name, alignment, all of that stuff. He's got his initiative. He basically has no armor. His AC is actually less than 10 now. Yes, it's a very judgmental bolt. His HP actually went down because of his constitution. So normally he would have had 120 plus. Now he's only got 105. That's going to make him kind of unique. Oh, and one other thing that I forgot with this. I almost forgot. I do believe that the quarterstaff... Oh, I thought it had reach. No, it's a monk weapon. Never mind. I thought it had reach. Okay, my bad. I guess I'm not adding anything to that anyway. So he doesn't have any ranged abilities except for the magic that he already has. I think we're good. I think that's a good-looking Rama. Again, I'm not giving him any languages just because even though Rama probably would stop to talk, he's not going to be around long enough for you to talk to him. I mean, I guess maybe if, like, the summoner just kept burning mana to keep him there, maybe you could talk to him then? That's about the best you're going to get, though. So we're going to copy. And paste. Unicorn says in 14 he's stupidly wise, so he probably knows all the languages anyway. Probably. Just give him all languages. Language all. But there we go. So that is 4 down. You can't hardly read them, but there they are. Not bad. JP says, did you just assume my alignment? I did. What you gonna do about it? Report the stream? I mean, you could. But I mean, that's hurting you as much as it's hurting me. Because, like, if I get taken off of YouTube, I'm just gonna go do something else. Besides that, if I get taken off of YouTube, I still have Rumble, I still have Minds, I still have BitChute, I still have lots of places to go to. I am not hitching my horse to this wagon, specifically. I've hitched my horse to all the wagons. Unfortunately, it can't pull all the wagons. But there we go. We got Ifrit and we got Rama. And that means that next time... Oh, it made this one smaller too? That's not fair. Okay, so who do we do next time? So we got Shiva, Rama, Ifrit. Great. Next time we do Titan and Carbuncle. And JP says Discord. I can't post videos or stream on Discord. I don't think. Pretty sure I can't. Maybe I could stream, but that would be about it. Tensu says, this is YouTube. This is a stream. In general, I always assume everybody's alignment is chaotic stupid. See, you should have been here for the lecture yesterday. You would have enjoyed yesterday's lecture, where we covered all of that. And Unicorn says you could stream, I think, but not save them. Well, you know, I can always still stream on Rumble. I can stream on Locals. I do have a Locals page. I don't hardly touch it. I don't touch most of my alternate stuff. I am really focused on YouTube right now, but if I ever got off of YouTube, I'd just slide into another one. It's not going to bother me that much. And since I don't have any monetization on YouTube, and the only monetization I have currently is my Patreon, that means that if I was off of YouTube, I'm not losing anything there. Except for maybe a few people, but I will just make sure that people get redirected to where I gotta go. And we good. It's getting the message out that's the hard part at that point. Anyway, though, next week we will do Titan and Carbuncle. Titan ought to be interesting because Earth isn't really a damage type in Pathfinder. The 4 in Pathfinder and in Dungeons and Dragons is fire, cold, electric, and acid. Whereas the 4 in Final Fantasy is fire, cold, lightning, and earth. And earth and acid are not exactly the same thing. But I mean, yeah, we'll work with it. We'll figure it out. And Carbuncle. Carbuncle's going to be weird. Because generally speaking, Carbuncle only came out and put Reflect on everybody. However, in Final Fantasy IX, there were 2 summoners, and they each had different summoning sets. The summoner who had Carbuncle could equip different gems, and depending on the gem equipped, Carbuncle would give different effects. The Ruby would be Ruby Light and give Reflect. I think it was a Diamond that would give Protection, and so what Carbuncle might actually be is a general protector, capable of just throwing up whatever protection you need. So we'll figure out Carbuncle next time. And Titan, of course, is going to be Earth. We'll figure it out. Titan's going to be fun. But yeah, that's it for this. Now, that being said, I did say that if we had time left over, we would try to build ourselves a quick Jesus. So we're going to do that. We got about 15 minutes left. Oops, I don't want to move that. I'm going to put that down there. So before we get out of here, because I do want to get out of here in about 15 minutes, let's see what we can build. Let's go back to Eidolons. Now, when we look at Eidolons, this is completely separate from the Final Fantasy thing. If you want me to go through all the end stuff, if you don't want to stay here for this, if you don't care about this, and you just wanted the Final Fantasy stuff, I'll say this right now. Thank you for coming to the stream. I was glad to have you here. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, that way you get notified. If you know somebody else who's also into either Pathfinder or Final Fantasy, share the stream with them. And If you got anything else to add to it, leave a like on the stream, leave a comment down below, and I will see you next week for the Final Fantasy stream. Till then, take care. Otherwise, though, for everybody else who is staying here for this one, let's see if we can build ourselves a Jesus. So when building an Eidolon, you get your hit dice, obviously, you get your base attack bonus, good saves, bad saves. We've seen this as we've been building Eidolons. Let's see, Tensi says, so we going full meme and the I Am Jesus or whatever that game was recently released was called? I don't know, I've never heard anything like that. Maybe I'm not up on my memes as I should be. Alright, so skills. This is Eidolon's total skill ranks. The following skills are available for Eidolons. Those are Bluff, Craft, Knowledge, Planes, Perception, Sense Motive, and Stealth. Not Profession, however, which is where Carpenter would come in. But maybe... Okay, we cannot get... We cannot get a profession. However... Oops, didn't want to do that. Go back. I Am Jesus is actually a game that was made. Okay, that's news to me. Alright, so what we can do is if we can't get profession carpenter, what we can do is, here's how I explain this, because every character made has a craft check and a profession check. And most players I have found don't know what to do with them. Most people just want to say, well, I make weapons because I'm a fighter. Or I make armor because I'm a paladin. Or I make scrolls because I'm a wizard. That's fine and all, but here's what I explain to people. Craft and profession. Profession is what you do to eat. It's what makes you the money. So you can have a profession of whatever. If you're a fighter, you can have profession dock worker. Why? Because if you have an 18 in strength and you can lift 300 pounds off the ground, you're probably good at moving boxes. And crates. And maybe hoisting things on cranes. So your profession is literally whatever you do to make the money. It does not necessarily have to reflect your class. It can. Arguably it should, because you want your character to be well-rounded and coherent. So if you're going to be a swashbuckling bard, having profession dock worker is kinda good. Craft, on the other hand, is what you do for a hobby. Okay? So your craft could be, like in our case, wood. Or craft woodworking, or craft whittling, or craft, whatever that happens to be. This is what you do in your spare time. So maybe your craft is furniture. Maybe your craft is instruments. Maybe your craft is art of some kind. Maybe your craft is sculpture. Maybe your craft is paint. Craft is what you do with your spare time. You can technically have craft music. Not perform, that's different. Perform is your ability to actually play the music. Craft would be your ability to compose the music. There's a big difference there. So if we want to make Jesus that you can summon, and we can't make him a carpenter, we can give him craft wood. Meaning that he can make all kinds of things out of wood. He can make a club. He can make a chair. He can make a bowl. He can make a shield. As long as it's made out of wood. So there we go. There's your carpenter. So he also gets the ability to bluff, probably not as important. Knowledge, very important. Perception, very important. Sense motive, don't lie to Jesus. And stealth, because if you're going to flip the tables in the bank, you might have to sneak in there. They might try to toss you out. Also, it's really helpful for being able to sneak out at night to go sit and give sermons to all the prostitutes and drug users. If your dad catches you doing that, you might get grounded. All right, so feats, armor bonuses, strength, dex bonuses. We don't really have to worry about this too much. What we do want to look at is what does Jesus do, and what can we do for him. So these special things are things between the summoner and your summon, but here we want base form. So Jesus is not aquatic, he's not avian, he is in fact a biped. Meaning that he has 2 arms, 2 legs. He can have claws if you want him to. Fashionably manicured, of course. Speed 30 feet, AC is +2 for natural armor. He's got good fortitude, he's got good will. He does have bad reflexes, though. After all, they did nail him to a piece of wood. Ability scores, he's got good strength, decent dex, good constitution. He was up there for a long time. However, intelligence, only 7. He did get nailed to a piece of wood. Just saying. Same thing with wisdom. However, charisma is probably a little bit low. People did like him. I mean, maybe his charisma should be swapped with his strength. Just saying. Swole Jesus wasn't really a thing, but popular Jesus was. So that's good. However, he gets free evolutions there, but when we look at evolutions, we can have up to 26 points worth of evolutions. So with that in mind, what do we want? Well, here's the thing. Jesus Christ could turn water into wine. Ergo, we are going to at least need prestidigitation. And while I do not see prestidigitation listed in here, I think that we can swing it. I mean, we've got pretty much every single other cantrip in here. We can give him prestidigitation. Is there anything else that we would need for him? He doesn't need acid splash, he doesn't need dancing lights, daze, detect magic. I don't think he actually needs any more of these. Maybe stabilize. Except I don't remember him actually ever having to do that. I mean, he supposedly cured the blind, he made the crippled walk, but that's a little bit above stabilizing. So I think we'll use 1 point, and we'll call that prestidigitation. So now he can turn the water to wine. Let's see. Bite, bleed, claws. He doesn't need those. Climbing, no. Gills, hooves. Improved damage, no. Improved natural armor, obviously not. A nail went through him. Low light vision, probably not. Magic attacks? I mean, he was non-violent. He didn't really attack anybody, so probably not. Which means that we're still sitting at 25 points. Let's see. Pincers, pounce, pull, push, no. Reach, no. Resistance? Do we really need to give him resistance? I don't think we need to. Maybe endurance, but not resistance. Let's see. Skilled. He gets a +8 racial bonus on a skill. However, it does not say that he can get a new skill, so we still can't get our profession. He doesn't have a slam attack. He's not slippery. Spirit touched, however. Let's see, this Eidolon is Spirit Touch, granting it 1 minor granted ability from the first level spirit of the summoner's choice. I don't actually know what that is. Tuck says he summoned bears to eat children. I don't remember that chapter. I have to check the Bible. Must have missed something. He wasn't sticky. He didn't have a stinger. He might have swam, but he didn't have webbed feet. Jesus did not have a tail, as far as I know. We don't have furry Jesus yet. So he doesn't get a tail slap. He didn't have tentacles. He did have an unnatural aura, but it wasn't that people didn't come to him. It's that people did. And he didn't have wings. So we're still sitting at 25 points. We just spent 1 point to get prestidigitation. 2 points. All right, ability increases. We could use this to buff up our charisma. Let's see. So the increase to the Eidolon's ability scores is a +2. It can be selected more than once, but it can only be applied once to an individual ability score plus 1 time for every 6 levels the summoner possesses. So that's a maximum of 3 times. We could take his charisma for the cost of 6 points up to, I think he had an 11 charisma, so that'd be like a 19. We're going to do that. 19 charisma. Supernatural charisma. That is 7 points spent, which means that we are currently down to 19. Alright, alignment smite? No, he didn't smite anybody. Channel resistance? No. Constrict? No. He did not have energy attacks. Super Saiyan Jesus is not a thing. However, extra feats? Maybe. He could use some endurance. Flight, gore, grab, head. Two-headed Jesus was not a thing. Immunity, however. It's not disease immunity or anything like that, so we're not going to do that. Keen scent. He had a normal sniffer. He did not have any extra limbs. Minor magic. So this is where we get into some stuff. Cure light wounds. Could be handy. We can go ahead and give him Cure Light Wounds, because he could basically lay his hands on people. He could... This isn't going to cure disabilities, though. Just wounds. But we're going to get it anyway. So we get Cure Light Wounds, and that puts us down to 17 points. He didn't use poison, didn't rake, didn't rend, didn't bond with anything. Let's see. Shadow Form, no. Sickening, Trample, Tremor Sense, Trip, no. Weapon training, he was not trained in weapons. Alright. Time to get into the bigger ones. 3 points. Blind Sense. As far as I know, he did not have Blind Sense. Nor did he burrow. Celestial Appearance, however. So it appears as a celestial creature and manifests some of the abilities of a celestial. The prerequisite must be of a good alignment. I don't know. Was Jesus good? Guess it depends on perspective. But we're going to say that Jesus was good. So the benefit. Spells and effects that target creatures of the good side type or specific effects against such creatures affect the Eidolon as if it were celestial. That's a +2 versus disease, petrification, poison, and electricity. Also gives a spell resistance equal to 5 plus its hit dice against anything with the evil descriptor. In other words, be gone, Satan! At the 7th level, by spending 2 additional points, the saves increase to +4. At the 12th level, spending 2 more, goes up to... Oh wait, the protection is increased to immunity against these attacks, and spell resistance is increased to 11. Well, we can absolutely do that, I think. I mean, I don't think that Jesus ever got sick, so why not? So if we were going to go ahead and make a Jesus that's basically immune to, you know, disease and stuff, that's another 6 points. Plus, he appears to be celestial in nature, which can't hurt with the 19 charisma we just gave him. So 6 more points, and he's now immune to disease, petrification, poison, electricity, spells, and effects with a spell resistance of 11 plus the hit dice. That ain't bad. So now we're down to 11 points. Our Jesus is immune to just a ton of things, has great charisma, can heal, and can change water to wine. We still don't have walking on water, though. How do we get that? There's major magic. Wait, did we pass a line here? Yeah, these are in 3-point evolutions. Major magic gives us cure moderate wounds. Let's see. Daze monster, glide, invisibility, lesser restoration, minor image, see invisibility, spider climb. Levitate might do what we want. Maybe not glide. However, for levitate to work, he would actually have to have a way to propel himself forward to walk across. See, sacrifice, see in darkness, follow whole web. 4 points. Gives a breath weapon, dimension door, fast healing. Obviously, he did not have fast healing. Incorporeal form, large, life sense, no breath, spell resist, ultimate magic. Okay, so no, we can't. There's nothing there. We need a way for him to walk on water. We have to have a walking on water Jesus. And so that is going to have to come down to... Well, let's look at levitate. So levitate allows you to move yourself, another creature, or an object up and down. Let's see. You cannot move the recipient horizontally, but the recipient could clamber along the face of a cliff, for example, or push against a ceiling to move laterally. Generally at half its base land speed. Maybe Jesus could levitate and just kind of push against the water to slowly move forward. Last I heard, Jesus didn't run a race across the water. He just walked. Didn't say he walked very fast either. And Tensu says, I don't know, I can see an argument made for fast healing. He did rise from the dead after 3 days. That's true, but they never found him again. So, I mean, they never found his body. He supposedly rose back up to heaven. That would make him not summoned anymore. That's like specifically unsummoned. Or summoned home. So I think what we'll do is we still have 11 points left. We'll get major magic for 3. We'll give him levitate, and he'll just kind of have to clamber along the surface of the water while he's levitating. So there's how we get the walking on water. And we still have, if that's 3 points, we still have 8 points left. So I'm not sure what else we give him. But that's a pretty good Jesus. And that means that we could, if we still have 8 points left... let's see. 26 minus 8 is going to be 18. We could have our Jesus at level 14. Now, zombie Jesus is a different thing. That's a different thing. But yeah, I think we got a pretty good Jesus here. And you could have him at level 14 instead of level 20. Everything after that, gravy. Not only that, but... I forgot, Eidolons do get feats. And at level 14, you would have 6 feats for your Eidolon. So you could absolutely get things like Die Hard or Endurance just to make your Jesus a little bit tougher. Tenzu says Exorcism option. Did Jesus exorcise people? I don't remember. I don't remember ever hearing about that. I mean, maybe. But you can absolutely do that. And even if there's not an option in the abilities for exorcism, but there are a few options or like feats that would let you get things from other classes. Like, for example, if you had a feat and you took the feat Rogue Talent, the feat Rogue Talent literally allows you to pick a rogue talent from their list. You just have to spend a feat to get it. So, since there are actually classes that do exorcisms, you might be able to go there in a roundabout way using a feat to get to an exorcism. And with 6 feats available to you at this level, I feel like you could probably do that. I'm not going to look into it too much, though. Nope, I just want to see if it can be done. It can be done. Alright then, well, we built an Ifrit, we built a Rama, and we built a Jesus. That's a productive day, if I do say so myself. However, I do think that I'm going to end things here. I'm going to go ahead, take a bit of a rest, and then I've got more recording and stuff to do. But this was fun, and I look forward to doing Titan and Carbuncle next week. So, as I said earlier, if you want to be here for that thing, then make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, that way you get notified. As far as I know, notifications still work. I don't trust them, but they still work for now. If you know somebody else who's also into this, share the video with them. Especially since we do silly things like build Jesus. Maybe next week, if we have time, we'll build Vishnu. Why not? I mean, we can do pretty much everything. If you want, we can even do an entire module building every single legendary figure from lore. That would take a really, really long time. And Final Fantasy's already taking a really, really long time. Anyway, though, if you're enjoying this kind of thing, leave a like on the video. If you've got anything that you'd like to add to it, leave a comment down below. But otherwise, I will just see you next week when we continue working on the Final Fantasy module. I hope to see you for the stream. I hope to see you in the Discord. If you're not already there, join that. I just hope to see you at all. And until then, take care.